So let's get more on this with our guest, Thomas Gross. He's an attorney and adjunct professor at the George Washington University. Thanks very much for your time there, Thomas. Now, complicated case really. Can you explain for us why now? What's been the process to get to this point? And why was Trump indicted by the Manhattan DA but not by the Justice Department?
Yeah. So hi, Sally. Thank you for having me today. So, with the vote on the indictment this past week, it means that Donald Trump is about to enter the criminal justice system in the state of New York and District of Manhattan. And what it means is that up until now, he has not really been a participant in this investigation. The grand jury proceeding is conducted in secret for a number of reasons: to protect witnesses, protect people from fleeing, protecting the integrity of the process. So on Tuesday, when he appears for the arraignment, it'll be the first time that he actually has a chance to hear and see the charges against him. Now, the reason the grand jury is conducted in secret is because they want to protect the process. And I think it's important for people to understand this investigation has been going on for some time. But the grand jury is there really, it's a federal constitutional protection to put an impartial body between the government and the individual. So it's designed to protect the individual from frivolous prosecutions, political persecutions, et cetera. Because obviously, if the government brings a criminal charge against you, it's very disruptive to your life, your job, your emotional state, your finances. So it means that after all this time, the grand jury believes by their vote, there's a probable cause that Trump committed a crime, and in fact, possibly 30 crimes, which is the 30 counts. So that's the reason it's happening now.
So what's the next step? Will there be a kind of period of discovery, and what will that entail, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So at the arraignment itself, Trump will most likely plead not guilty, as most defendants do, simply because they haven't seen or heard the charges. And they also don't know what the prosecutor has, what kind of evidence he has. So with that, the start of the process includes the start of the discovery process, so the defendant can see exactly what the grand jury came up with and why they think there's a probable cause of a crime being committed.
And these are, of course, unprecedented times, as we keep hearing, the first president to be, US president to be indicted. But even if found guilty, what really are the repercussions here? I mean, he can still run for office. How serious is this really?
Well, he's a private citizen right now. And so you're right. It is unprecedented for a president or former president of the United States to be indicted. Maybe the closest we came in recent history was Richard Nixon, when he was investigated by a grand jury, and they found that they say he's an unindicted co-conspirator, meaning they found probable cause of a crime, but they refused to indict him. So here, it may be unprecedented for a president, former president, to be indicted, but it is not unprecedented for a private citizen to go through the criminal justice system. And that's exactly what he will be doing, and he will be treated like every other citizen. It doesn't really affect his presidential run, meaning it doesn't mean he cannot run for president. In fact, Trump is a master at capitalizing on these events, and we see him doing it already. There are a lot of Trump himself and many politicians are using this to fundraise, right?
And that's my point. I mean, the Trump campaign is now saying that they've raised $5 million since the news of the indictment. That's not been corroborated, but they've been aggressively pushing for funding, and many Democrats have expressed, of course, that they're glad that this is happening. But could this possibly give Trump the platform that he needs to be successful again in winning the Republican candidacy?
Well, I think he certainly intends to use it that way, and he is using it that way. And, they're saying that they will not take pictures of Trump in handcuffs because arguably he might even like that. He might even want T-shirts made up to that because his base, his base is, he has a large base. Let's be honest about it. And, his base is fired up about this. So Trump, his approach basically is to deny, which we expect him to do, and then to attack, and then to play to his political supporters. And he's doing that, and we expect to see more of it.
All right, Thomas Gross, really appreciate your time. Attorney and adjunct professor at the George Washington University.
Thanks for having me.